Welcome to the evaluation. Now, I know you all think this is the boring part of a project, but it is actually really very, very important. And it is so good for us to do an evaluation. Let me explain why. Now, some of you may have known that I've been making visors for the NHS, part of their PPE requests. And the process it took for me to make just my design was about 5 hours before I came up with that final product. I trialed and errored things. I tried glue gunning. I couldn't work out how I was going to cut this foam very neatly. And as you can see, it's not very good. The visor itself came off. I tried glue gunning it to this strap. I tried glue gunning the strap to the foam. That didn't look good. This came off, as I say. The strap at the back, that didn't work too bad. I was happy with the strap. So I took parts away from it. I tried it on. What happened? Not only obviously did the visor come off, but it fogged up. Not only the visor fogged up, but my glasses fogged up. I put a mask on. That didn't help either. So that one was put aside, and I came up with another variation on the theme. So the strap, I tried to save cost by reducing the length of strap and the amount of Velcro on it. That didn't work so well, so we went back. The final design went back to a slightly longer strap. Finding the strap length, well, that was interesting. Different people have different size heads, so we actually emailed around people to find out the size of their head, so we could then try and average it out what the size of a small head was, a large head, so we knew how long the tape needed to be. Then the foam. We decided to cut it. Very sharp knife, carving knife funnily enough, that I had to sharpen every time I used it. So then we got a much cleaner edge. Not perfect by any means, but much cleaner. Now you'll see these two raised bits. Those bits were to stop what I call the anti-huff visor. So in other words, the hot air rises out of the visor and it doesn't steam up, or there's air movement and so it doesn't fog up. The visor itself, it's double-sided taped. I found some very, very strong double-sided tape, and that is attached everything together, including the visor onto the tape. The tape is inside the visor, so this is all the acetate I used. The reason it's useful, and again this was part of the design process, was because they could write their name on here. Because if you imagine when you're all done up in your scrubs and all your gear, the visor and your respirator and so on, you can't be seen, you can't be recognised. So to write names on there, and also they write things like what time their shift is, what time their break was going to be. This took about 5 hours to make. Lots of little bits of tailoring around and so on. Once we got the process underway, we were knocking these out in about 20 minutes each. These, we've made about 60 of them now. They've been used at Addenbrooke's in the A&E department, and a friend of mine who works there has thoroughly enjoyed using them. If nothing else, it's brought, as she said, it brings a smile to her face when she sees others wearing them with all the bright colours. That, ladies and gents, is what research and development is all about, R&D. And every product that we come across, we will come across R&D. There would have been research into it and development. And your evaluation is part of that. What was your project brief? Mine was to solve the problem of PPE and see if I could do something. Yours, you've been given your project brief. That is what we're asking you to do. Now, the design, the research, looking for ways of developing an existing design. Could you do it better? How? That's the ideas page, the developments page. Your working drawings, part of that research and development. You're developing your ideas. I've got sketched on the back of an envelope the designs for these. A very simple example. Then, of course, once you've done your designing, it's the making. How sharp was my knife needing to be? How long were the tabs needing to be? That's all part of the making. The quickest way we could make them. Did we want to sew the tabs on, or did we glue gun them? We glue gun them because it was a much quicker process. If we'd been sewing them, it possibly looked better, but it would have taken longer. So the making, choosing the appropriate materials. Interesting, I was told by my friend in A&E that had we put the tape on the outside, they'd have had to have thrown these away every time they change shift. But because they can wipe these clean with the alcohol wipes, you can use them over and over again. So it solves a problem of waste, but also not having to produce so many of them. That's the research, the development, the making. And then of course the evaluation. It's this part, it's looking at it, it's hearing from the customer, hearing from my friend in A&E how well that had worked or not. And I said to her, please be honest with me. And I have to say I was very nervous for a few days until I heard back from her and a photo of her wearing this in Addenbrooke's, and I thought to myself, it was all worthwhile. So that's the evaluation. All the while I'm still thinking, could we speed the process up? Because that's one of the things that's lacking. Could we make them quicker? Could we use them with different materials? All of that is what you should be asking yourself. And when you ask yourself the question and you come up with the answers yes or no, we also need you to come up with the reasons why. It's no good just of saying, yes, I could do this better. Why? No, I didn't enjoy this project. Why not? Write in full sentences and write clear, flowing sentences. 3 paragraphs, the design paragraph, the making paragraph, and then the final product. What you're looking at, what other people think. Has it solved the design brief, the problem that was posed? And as far as the Vise is concerned, yes, it has so far. Thank you very much indeed. I hope you've enjoyed this little presentation and you've found it useful.